Hello, friends. This is Dr. Priyanka, the Associate Professor of English from Swami Vivekananda University, West Bengal, India. Today, I'm going to deliver a video lecture on the topic Language as a Verbal Art. In this video lecture, now let us see what we're going to cover. Our topic outline goes like this. What makes an expression memorable? Standard language versus poetic language will be our focus. Roman Jacobson's communication model, Roman Jacobson's principle of equivalence, the automatization of text, foregrounding, and what creates a verbal art. These are the things that we will be covering today in this video lecture. Now, let me present before you some memorable lines. Can you tell me what makes these lines memorable? Yes, it is the poetic quality that makes these lines memorable forever. Now, what is this poetics? Poetics is the theory of literature, and poetic competence is the ability to produce poetic structures and understand their effect, as says Manfred Bierich in his essay on poetics and linguistics. Now, my next question is, can anybody develop this poetic quality? While most people opined in negative, it was Roman Jacobson who argued that yes, anybody can develop this poetic quality. Because whether it is literature or linguistics or any scientific study, all are dependent on a common factor that is language for expression. Roman Jacobson in 1960 says in his closing statement that when we communicate, six factors come to play their roles: addressor, addressee, message, context, code, and contact. When we communicate, depending on our purpose, we keep on shifting our focus from one factor to the other, thereby giving birth to six different functions, as we see here. When we focus on the addressor, language comes to serve the emotive function. When we focus on the addressee, language comes to serve the cognitive function. When the focus is in context, it comes to serve the referential function. When we focus in code, then the language serves the metalinguistic function. When the focus is in contact, then the language serves the phatic function. And it is only when the message comes under focus the language serves the poetic function. And how the message is brought to notice? It is through the selection of forms and the combination in the level of structure. That is to say, the poetic function projects the principle of equivalence from the axis of selection, that is paradigmatic axis, to the axis of combination, that is syntagmatic axis. And in an attempt to achieve this aim, it ends up with de-automatization, that is defamiliarization of the text, by making a choice deviating from the practiced usage. Thus, when the poet is writing, "My love is like a red rose," he is actually making a choice from this paradigmatic axis where he is having so many options: divine ecstasy, beautiful feeling, God, fairy, wonderful experience, sweetie pie, blissful dream. But he chooses none. He selects the eighth one, that is the red rose. And this is very much out of beat, and thus this causes the de-automatization of the text, and it draws immediately our attention. It attracts our attention. So, what we find is that when a common language, a standard expression, gets changed into poetic language, a verbal art gets created. And for this, the things that play the most vital roles are deviation from the norm, or recurrence or convergence of textual pattern, and also sometimes the exploitation of a grammar of possibilities. And this is what we call foregrounding. Thus, we can conclude that if the artful selection of forms made at the paradigmatic axis, that is word level, is not projected and forms not combined at the syntagmatic axis or sentence level with equal artistry, then it will continue to be a common expression because it is only in the axis of combination that the selected and projected words mingle to give birth to a structure, an expression that stands distinct from others, creates a verbal art, even sometimes out of simple common words like beauty is truth, truth is beauty. So now let us quickly summarize what we have studied. We have learned today what instills poetic quality in a text, Jacobson's model of communication and the functions of language, syntagmatic relation and paradigmatic relation, how the poetic equivalence is achieved through selection and combination of words from paradigmatic axis to the syntagmatic axis, how text de-automatization takes place, what is foregrounding, and how common language gets changed into a verbal art. So, this much for today. In the next class, we will learn more about this technique. Thank you for your patient hearing.